Everybody, welcome back. We've got the chat buzzing already. Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chase and Thrill's custom t-shirts and accessories. We are sponsored by the Ice Shaker and also sponsored by Make It Mac and Chase and Thrills, as we had mentioned. Go buy your custom Timeout Talks apparel via www.chaseandthrills.com. You can purchase your Ice Shakers at www.iceshaker.com. And I also want to recommend you guys follow Make It Mac on Instagram and Facebook. I want to thank everybody for welcoming. I want to welcome in everybody all across the platforms of Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Our agenda tonight is spicy. As we wrap up the month of March, we will be kicking things off in the NFL with the NFL free agency. We took to the Twitter polls earlier. We heard you guys out on a potential DeAndre Hopkins trade, which has been just, the rumors have been swirling in Boston. We will get you the exact percentage numbers and more information on that. That will kick off our show. We've got UFC 286 recap. We've got Madness in March continuing, March Madness. We've got Bruins and Celtics stuff for you later in the show. It is a jam-packed show. It feels like every week it is jam-packed. I'm saying the same thing, but Ben, glad to have you back here on another week of Timeout Talks. I'm going to kick it off with this because Mikey has already hopped in the chat.
Let's go,
he
Mikey.
said bye-bye, Zeke. We'll get to that.
There we
So you know what? You know what? No, we're gonna get to the big hot topic because I've got a lot that we're gonna talk about with free agency of the Cowboys. Mikey, I will actually hold on the Zeke stuff. I will give you my live and organic take on that. However, we are gonna kick things off in the NFL. We took it to you guys on Twitter, and it was a straight up question. As a Patriot fan, if you are the Patriots, however you want to look at it, would you trade a first or a second round pick for DeAndre Hopkins? We took to the Twitter polls. We had sub 100 votes. So that's like pretty good for us on Timeout Talks. 100 different people took to it on Twitter. Good. We had a couple interactions, which we'll get to in a second. But 75% of you said yes, we'd trade DeAndre Hopkins for a first-round pick. And 25% of you said no for a first or a second-round pick. So, Patriots fans are all in. Ben, I'm going to keep this very short and sweet. I know our fellow co-host, James, who joins all the time, has said this as well. I know that there's a couple NFL reporters who have said this. I don't think it happens. I think it should happen. I think they should have this on their radar. But I think personalities clash and people like Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins, that type of chemistry, it's definitely going to play a factor, especially because Bill O'Brien is the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. We know that they've had a rocky history. I don't think it happens, but I do think they should. Bill Belichick, they should put their differences aside, and they should call the Arizona Cardinals. Will it happen? No, but it should.
Yeah, exactly, Josh. It should. Another just classic Patriots move that they should be doing. This would be perfect. Have DeAndre, then Juju. Now you got Mike Gesicki. Everybody loves Juju now, Josh. I love this. Everyone's on the Juju fan train now. But that would be a good combo. Obviously, still got Hunter Henry there, Ramondre, J-Rob over there. Nice little signing. I'll give the Pats fans that one, Josh. Nice little James Robinson signing. I like that move. But, obviously getting DeAndre, that would be the cherry on top, Josh. That would be the perfect situation for them. But it's not going to happen. The Patriots just don't do that stuff. I don't think they make those splashy moves. Haven't seen one since Randy Moss. And that was just that was a layup for them. The Raiders wanted to get rid of him. And the Patriots revived his career right there and did sort of a thing. The Cardinals are going to need a little more from him. They're rebuilding. They need a lot of pieces on that defensive side with J.J. Watt retiring, losing Zach Allen in free agency. So Cardinals are looking to get a haul for DeAndre, if anything. But just to answer the poll, I'll be one of those yes. I think they should. First and second. Definitely send it over to the Cardinals. Patriots have done, like I just pointed out, did a solid job of free agency so far, Josh. So I think they could splurge a little and get a flashy, weapon like DeAndre from Mac Jones and give him no excuses in his third year. More importantly, so I think they should. But I'm going to agree with you on this one, Josh. I don't think they will. Unfortunately, it stinks.
And it's yeah,
For
it
Patriots
is
fans.
the
Doesn't
hundred.
sink for me, Josh. I just want to put that in there. It doesn't sink for me. Sorry, I got a little too deep into the Patriots. It doesn't sink for me. I love watching this, but it stinks for Pats fans.
You gotta love it. He's got that Steelers perspective. I agree with you. I think if you look at, just the history of the Patriots, and you made actually the best point. I haven't even heard that comparison. It's pretty similar. Obviously DeAndre Hopkins isn't
Yeah.
the quality of player that Randy Moss was, but it's a similar situation. We know what DeAndre Hopkins is capable of doing. In his prime, he is a top 5, arguably top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. He's showed it year in and year out. Arizona's got their weird issues going on right now. I'm not going to hold him accountable for that, but I think it's a perfect situation, kind of similar to what you had mentioned and referred to in the Patriots trading for Randy Moss, kind of saving him from the Raiders. Same exact thing. We know DeAndre Hopkins has had those problems with Bill O'Brien, and we know that he's kind of had these weird ongoing issues in Arizona because he wants out. Hell, quite frankly, I'd want out of there too. Their quarterback can't stay healthy. They're kind of a mess right now. Their head coach, their young buck, who just literally I thought was going to be their future, just walked out. He's like contemplating retirement. He was. So they've got a lot of issues there, but overall, Ben, I agree. They need a difference maker. They went out and they signed Juju. I agree with Marianne. Welcome in, Marianne, in the chat. I love Juju too. I still don't think he's that guy. And I think it all comes down to Mac Jones. He's the quarterback of the New England Patriots. And I think Juju Smith-Schuster, Jacoby Myers, there's not too much of a drop off there. I think Juju has a higher ceiling. I love that contract better that they signed Juju to a long-term deal, except Jacoby Myers. However, to your point, to my point, to half of New England's point, they need more. We all know it. Bill knows it. Ownership knows it. DeAndre Hopkins knows they need more. And I think he's the perfect opportunity for them. They have the cap space. At the end of the day, it really comes down to putting differences aside. Because if you think about it, he joins the team. He's their number one. He's their big red zone threat, which we know Bill O'Brien loves, and Bill Belichick. He can complement Hunter Henry amazingly in the red zone, and Mike Gesicki, they have another red zone threat there too. He would make such a difference for that Patriot team, and I know everybody's going to roll their eyes when I say it, but he is that hype player that they need, and not just hype player off the field, but he also can produce on the field. I know he's kind of taken a couple steps off, but to your point, take the flyer, go get DeAndre Hopkins. They need something. You need some type of difference to make things shake in that AFC East, Ben. So, will they do it? No. But they have to do something. They have to draft a receiver in the first round. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's not going to cut it with just Juju, the 2 dual tight ends, Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker. You're essentially running it back, in my opinion.
Yeah, Mo Kiper's. I know we don't really put all the trust in Kiper and McShay, but listen, I put a decent amount of trust in him. In the new mock draft, the Patriots selected Joey Porter Jr., cornerback. So that's not a good sight for Pats fans looking to add weapons over here. And if the Pats are going to do that, I think they should just make the trade for DeAndre. Give that cornerback. Obviously, Arizona would try to use that for a cornerback. Give that over there. Patriots got enough on the defensive side. Listen, Bill's the greatest defensive coordinator or coach of all time. He can transform some of these guys into better on that side of the ball. Go get more talent on the offensive side, because listen, no offense to Bill, he just doesn't know that side. Give Bill O'Brien the most he can do over there, and just let him work with it. So or just draft Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's got a little pro day tomorrow. I think they're looking to see. Yeah, I know Josh is wanting him. Josh is going to worry about maybe another running back. Maybe you can get Bijan. I know we're talking about that a little earlier, just a little tease right there. I mean, listen, if they got Bijan, that'd be huge for the Cowboys, but we'll get to that. But if the Patriots are going to just get another defender, might as well just go get D-Hop or get somebody flashy. As Josh pointed out, they need something. Almost said we there. They need something over there. Listen, like I mentioned, Juju, Mike Gesicki, these are all good. J-Rob, these are all good sort of free agent, pieces. They just need something to just sort of top it all off. And I think again, DeAndre would. But I don't know. The Patriots, it's just tough for me to see him doing it. But I would love, again, Patriots fan perspective, I would love to see for them to do that because they need to stay competitive in that division, Josh. With Aaron Rodgers coming over, Jalen Ramsey on Miami too. It's just getting a little. I mean, Damian Harris. Shout out to Damian Harris going to Buffalo. He's not
I wanted to
obviously
get
on
to
that same
that
skill
too.
level. I just want to throw that little dig in there, Josh. We got to throw that one in there.
No, I couldn't agree with you anymore. The DeAndre Hopkins acquisition, if he was to be a Patriot, is the icing on the cake. The reference you were kind of getting to there, alluding to. We've got a couple people in the chat, so we're just going to acknowledge Aaron on Twitch here. We've got Beast, Mikey, Marianne, we got to a little bit earlier on the Juju, and we've got Nick DeVosta, who I want to get back to. We're going to circle back to his comment on the Patriots and Lamar Jackson. However, Mikey came right in here. He wanted to hear my thoughts. I wanted to hear Ben's thoughts. The Dallas Cowboys made a couple big splashes in the offseason. They went out and they acquired Gilmore. We talked a little bit about that last week. I'm still cheesing over the fact that they did that. It's like amazing. We literally got him for pennies. Number 2 corner. We needed it. We also went out and got my guy. A guy that I was actually clamoring for the Patriots to make a midseason trade for last year. I was clamoring for the Dallas Cowboys to go get him last year because he was just screaming to get out of Houston, and he finally did. We got Brandon Cooks, my boy Cookie, on a nice deal. Texans are still kind of taking some of his cap as well. We've got him for 2 years. I love it. Kind of spaces that offense out for Dak Prescott. However, we saw 2 key Cowboys depart, kind of part ways, go their separate ways. Dalton Schultz and Ezekiel Elliott. Mikey came right in here, wanted to fire off the Ezekiel Elliott stuff. I'm going to start off with Dalton Schultz because I think Ezekiel Elliott deserves a little bit more time. I like Schultz. I'm going to give you guys a bold take on timeout talks here. I like Schultz. I think the market wasn't what he thought it was. That's why we only saw a 1-year deal. Kind of similar, and I know James and me had talked about this a little bit earlier today. He mentioned Mike Gesicki, same thing. Both these guys thought that their deals were going to be a lot bigger. Very similar situations. Both kind of popped off on their contract years. Mike Gesicki's year kind of slowed down last year, but both were on the contract years last year. Wanted to get more, didn't, in a kind of empty tight end market too. We thought the market was going to be higher. It wasn't. And I think Dallas knew that. That's why they kind of parted ways. I'm going to say a hot take right now. Ben talked about it earlier. Obviously, I would love to draft Bijan Robinson. However, maybe you go out there and get Michael Myers. Okay, whatever. That'd be nice. But I also think that Jake Ferguson is going to take that step. Everybody laughs. He's got the athleticism. He's a great blocking tight end, and we've seen him kind of make some things shake a little bit in that tight end room for Dallas. I'm telling you, he's going to take a big leap, and I think the team knows that and believes that. That's why they didn't want to sign Schultz. They gave the money to Pollard. They went out and they got Gilmore, who's going to take up some cap. They restructured some guys, brought back Fowler, brought back Van Der Esch. They saw the needs in other spots. Donovan Wilson, who I am absolutely huge on. He was kind of my Cedric Wilson of this year, that underrated guy who really was a key part of that team. But so that's why I've come to peace with them moving on from Schultz. I think there'll be those speed bumps because that was kind of Dak Prescott's security blanket. However, we'll make amends. We'll draft somebody, or I think Jake Ferguson does take that step. I'm not saying he's going to replace Dalton Schultz completely, but I do expect Jake Ferguson to have a solid year for the Cowboys. That's my bold take. However, Ezekiel Elliott, it's a bitter sweet moment. I think me and you know it, Ben. He was asking for too much money, wasn't producing the same way, wasn't that same workhorse guy. The eye test, which shout out to one of my buddies, Isaac, he loves this. The eye test showed that Tony Pollard was the better running back. He's the more younger running back. And as we've seen in the NFL and just across the league as well, these hits take a toll on your body. Ezekiel Elliott's clearly not the same guy. He didn't want to restructure his money. Great locker room presence. Great leader in that sense. However, it's kind of one of those things where you got to move on. It's a business. We needed to work with salary cap. He wasn't willing to work. At least it didn't seem like that. He was one of the only people to never restructure. I wish him the best. I smile because he was worth that first pick, 4th overall, way back when in 2016 was great. But you got to move forward, and that's kind of what the Dallas Cowboys have decided to do. They brought in Ronald Jones today. I roll my eyes because I don't think he's the answer. I would have loved them to have Damian Harris, which brings me to my next point. I think the Bills really stole one there with Damian Harris. But Ezekiel Elliott, you got to move on. That's that. But kind of just threw a lot at the wall there for you, Ben. We're sticking to NFL free agency for now, but we will move forward a little bit later. Eagles brought back in C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And I also want to throw this one to you, Ben. I'm throwing a lot at you right now. Should the Patriots get Lamar Jackson? Nick DeVosta's statement says that they should.
Yeah, I think they got to pass on the Lamar Jackson one. I mean, I think they're just going to have to give up on too much right now to get him. And you already got Mac. Might as well just let the Mac experiment keep going. Like we said, it's the third year. We'll pile up some decent weapons for him now. Not, the Nelson Aguilars and Kendrick Bournes. No offense to those guys. Bourne had his moments, but listen, yeah, Juju, Gesicki, they're starting to get a real squad over there. Hopefully they can draft somebody like a Smith Igma or, another, as Mel Kiper pointed out, it's a deep wide receiver draft, get someone in the later rounds for Mac to really give him a chance in this third year. So listen, another one, yeah, it'd be great for the Patriots to get Lamar. I mean, that would be a fairy tale. But I think they just not going to go after that. It's just too much of a headache for them, and I think they're just going to have to pay, unfortunately, too much for them that to just manage this team and still be afloat like it would with Mac. So that'd be a good one. But and then you got Chi coming in here. The Cowboys should look at playoff Lenny. I mean, that would be a solid one. Hey, listen, and Josh we've been waiting to hear. I've been waiting to hear from Josh in this one about Ronald Jones. He's been harsh on that Ronald Jones one. Listen, it's a decent one. He's a second and third, running back. He's just a depth guy. He's a second. Get him down. There's some of the second and third downs. Just third on the depth chart, second on the depth chart. If you really injury plagued and whatnot, but I mean, he's just a solid guy to have. And I think, that signing looks a lot better if they go get a playoff Lenny or, as we mentioned, maybe draft Bijan. Josh just mentioned the fourth. I mean, that seems so long ago. It seems making us feel a little old. And I remember Zeke getting drafted, and here we are now. But speaking of Zeke too, it was just time to move on. Josh pretty much just summed it up right there. Listen, it was great for the Cowboys fans, Josh and them. Obviously have their own memories with them. Listen, I don't really care for it. He had some great moments for them and everything. But it was just time to move on. He was taking up too much money, wasn't producing. Like Josh said, the eye test. I mean, Pollard was a better back all year. And he had his moments, but they really weren't even that sort of important or just, game changing. He just kind of scored against a couple bad teams. Yeah. It's just it's just time to move on. At the running back position, unfortunately, it's only for so many years. I felt the same way about Le'Veon, even though I still thought we could have kept him around a little more, but the wheels started to fall off with him. So it was kind of good to get him out of there. It's just sad seeing the running backs go, but it's just the shelf life isn't there. Unfortunately, it's just a tough position to keep around. And that was, I think it was just best for both parties just to look forward and look elsewhere. Let Zeke can go find hopefully, I think he's going to go to a playoff contender team. Not be the lead back, but sort of just take the workload off. And I still think he can produce for a playoff contender, but I think just the Cowboys, relationship is just looking to move on. Just too much money for him. He's obviously not going to get paid that money by that new team. So he's just got to find the new right situation for him. And losing Dalton Schultz is tough, but I think obviously Jake Ferguson, that was a great call from Josh. Look at Josh. Josh knows his NFL draft. Michael Meyer, another baby Gronk. Any good tight end that comes out of the drafts nowadays, everyone's just a baby Gronk. These big dudes with the high 80s, numbers. They just call him that. But I mean, he can seriously. I think he'll be pretty good at the next level. That would be another great draft for the Cowboys if they landed him. And the Brandon Cooks one, I mean, we mentioned all throughout the year. I mean, that would have been solid. I know they got out and got T.Y., but I was, favoring the Cowboys to get Brandon Cooks. I felt like he would have helped them out a little more. And now they got him even cheaper, 4th and 5th round pick. Instead of wasting it on a, shot in the dark with a wide receiver, you got a solid guy, Brandon Cooks, that can come here, alleviate some of that pressure that you lose from without Schultz. So Cowboys overall, I think they did a good job so far. Lose Dalton Schultz, that stinks, but Sorry, Zeke fans too. I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little insensitive to it. I don't feel too much love towards Zeke. He did tear us up a couple times in those classic Steelers games with the Cowboys. But
That was
I
a
mean,
great game.
it was a great game, Josh. But I'm so unfortunate for the running backs too. I'm sorry, running backs, but it's just a tough position nowadays in today's NFL. They just don't have that long of a playing career. It just stinks.
100%. And I think it kind of, I seen one of these small reports, and I think this guy hit it on the nail. Is I don't remember exactly who it was. It was one of like an ESPN. I obviously follow the Cowboys. I get little updates, and one of the articles basically was predicated around the idea of look at what just happened with Zeke. Got to be hesitant towards Pollard now. You don't want to throw all this money at him. Plus, he just broke his fibula. So, like, that's one thing to kind of throw out. And again, I want to preface the fact that I do think he'll bounce back. But to your point, running backs, their shelf life is very short. And now the Steelers are already starting to have those small doubts about Najee. And of course, I'm not saying the doubts like, oh, we doubt drafting him, but for the future or how long he can stand up. So I think you hit it on the head with that. He's going to go to a certain team that fits his need. As James had mentioned, as a lot of people had thought, maybe it was Buffalo Bills. I didn't quite see the fit there. I still don't even really see the Damian Harris fit. I think he's going to do great there, but I know they love their kind of like, receiving backs there. However, he'll find a home. I'm kind of insensitive towards it now too, Ben, because it's just been the same thing over and over again. Zeke looks great, his body, yada, yada, yada. And then he's not the same explosive guy. He's going to be great in the red zone for teams. Great little first down pickup. Got type move the chains guy, but at the end of the day, he's not that explosive tailback that we thought we had, or that we had years ago. No, excuse me. We knew what we had in him, but obviously times change. However, we are getting later in the show, so we are going to switch gears here, and we are going to go to UFC 286. I wasn't able to catch too much of the card. However, I will say, Leon Edwards with the win, and Justin Gaethje, and I'm doing this like Justin Gaethje thing because it kind of felt like on the podcast, it kind of felt like off the podcast for everybody that I was kind of talking to around here. They didn't really have him winning. They had Fiziev winning. They were wrong. And it looks to me, Ben, they're setting up for a Gaethje-Poirier. Maybe. That's got a lot of intrigue to it there. They fought each other once, and I know Poirier had won the first time, but it's got some intrigue to it.
Yeah, I see Rob coming in here. We'll get to Team USA.
We're
Rob,
getting there. We'll get there right after.
We'll get there. We don't have too much. I mean, let's just go Team USA. A solid. And hey, the Red Sox on full display last night too. With Japan, Mexico. Just want to shout out that matchup to Alex Verdugo, and I can't miss. I'm going to mispronounce his name, Josh. Our outfielder Matsuda, or just the most Moshida. Listen, hey. Call him Yoshi over there. That's what I was told as his little nickname over here. Listen, if he's going to bring, he's leading the RBIs in the World Classic right now. If he's going to bring that type of hitting to the Red Sox this season, more than welcoming him on board right now. Obviously that Xander Bogaerts loss is going to hurt us, but we need somebody, get people in the seats, get people excited. So I'm pretty happy about that performance and seeing Purdue go out there. Listen, whatever, Rob. Whatever. I just want to get that little plug in there for the Red Sox. We'll let Josh get maybe a little Yankees plug in there for the World Series, the World Baseball Classic. Sorry, I care less. Listen, baseball. Sorry, Rob and Josh. It's the baseball's still on the back burner right now. Sorry, everybody, to the baseball fans. We're getting there, but I mean, it's been MMA March. We've had some great fights, and as we're getting to this one, I mean. Edwards, like Josh mentioned, I didn't get to see too much of the card. I was watching, I was monitoring it. Some of the bets, didn't work out too. I was working from some of it. It was just kind of a tough start time with the London time. Started at 1:00. It was cool for the main card, Josh. I guess I was talking to Jimmy about it. I guess it was cool seeing some of the main card, being a little earlier instead of at midnight, but I kind of like the midnight vibes, when it's late night, they get the last couple of fights there, just gets everybody a little more juiced up, it's just kind of, not as much energy. I felt, midday, sun's still up and we're fighting, it's Usman Edwards. But I mean, yeah, Gaethje made me my words. I didn't think he was going to win it at all. Jimmy gave him a little more credit, but Gaethje puts on a show. I don't need a coffee. Listen, Rob. I don't need a coffee. I'm on one. Don't worry. I'm on one. But no, Gaethje shocked us all. I don't know. I sort of had Fight's winning in everything. I never even saw Gaethje having a chance in this one. And that just sort of just shows you what I know on that one. But it was a tough one. But I mean, if Fizie's won that first round, I think he just sort of threw everything at the wall on him. And Gaethje just showed you he's the vet. You know, he just was able to withstand 3 rounds with him. And as Josh mentioned, that Poirier Gaethje matchup is very intriguing now. You know, Gaethje just sort of brought himself back into these rankings now with this fight. I mean, that was the top contender in that division, Fizie's. And yeah, I mean, he gave him everything he could in that one, and Gaethje still stood tall and beat him down. Yeah, she mentioned it was a tough one, so maybe that's why I need to wake up, Rob. With the UFC, I'm still kind of dismissive all talking. It was a rough one. Sam Patterson, thanks, Sam Patterson. Yeah, there we go. Way to rub it in, Rob. You know, listen, I should have taken those ones. Those are just too good. Yeah, Edwards and Gaethje were too good of money right there. Too good of a fighters. You know, and those guys just proved it right now. And unfortunately, you know, I think it might just be the end of Usman. You know, he had a good run, but you know, I mean, he lost a trilogy with Edwards. Talking again with Jimmy about it today. Yeah, maybe a possible fight with Wonder Boy. Maybe sign him up, Kamaru Usman against Wonder Boy, Stephen Thompson. So we're just getting him back on track with that. And Stephen Thompson just had a nice. I think he just beat down Kevin Holland pretty bad last time out. So that'd be an interesting fight. But yeah, unfortunately, as Rob mentioned, Usman sucks. Yeah, I think he just might be at the end of it. At the end of the woods of the career, he just did not look good. He just trying to go for the takedowns every time. And Edwards just had the power. All of his shots were hard, and all of his shots just had more significant power. And you could just see his shots taking effect, and Usman better. Obviously, against this judging again, how you going to judge these takedowns? Usman obviously had the second round, third round. But if you take him down this whole time, it doesn't really appeal to the judges, Josh. You want those power punches, you want those shots to the head, you want something to get the crowd going, get those judges to sway your opinion. I just don't think Usman has it. So I think unfortunately we're seeing an end to him, and now we're going to have to see a new competitor, a new contender. For that, I know everyone's already complaining about the Colby Covington fight, which I think maybe Bilal Muhammad or somebody else should probably have a little better of a shot to try to get that title fight before Kobe, but we can dive into that another time. But another great card. Just tough one for Benny Betts.
Tough one for me. It was tough for me to kind of watch. I was coming back from New York City. Shout out Kaylee. Happy birthday. Or happy belated birthday. But yeah, I'm not... I see what James means, and I like about the main event being, it's not like 12, 1 o'clock. That's better. But I kind of agree with you. I like the vibes of going out for the UFC fights.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice for us. Like if you're up late it's got like a different type of vibe late at night. I don't know. Maybe I feel like it has to be 1 o'clock, 3s. It's kind of weird. Like, even that whole Jake Paul fight was on like a weird time. I don't know. It's just, I'm kind of against it. I see like what he means. Like, it's kind of relaxing, but I don't know. I wasn't able to watch too much of it. However, I will say to kind of move it forward, I've been said this from the beginning. I thought Gaethje was going to win, and I was going to put Gaethje and Usman in a parlay. I would have lost that anyways. Didn't end up doing it. Couldn't get around to it. But I agree with you. It's kind of one of those things where we saw what Usman had. He had the title for a long time. Kind of similar to all those, classic UFC champions, the Ronda Rouseys, the Conor McGregors, all those types of guys, where they held it for a while, and then, once you kind of just lose it, it's hard to get it back. The chase becomes even harder than it was before. So I'm interested in seeing where he goes moving forward. I'm interested in seeing if Edwards and Colby is a fight. I know we talked about that in our group chat. A lot of people pushed back. Some people were for it. I think Colby should maybe get another chance. I think he has a better chance against Edwards than he did Usman. Usman just wasn't a good matchup for him. Rob, we will get to that live bet against Venezuela. Don't you worry. We'll get right into the World Baseball Classic next, Rob. We've got plenty of time. Bruins and Celtics we can talk about a little bit. We've kind of just been regurgitating the same stuff on them. They've both been great. We'll get to the World Baseball Classic in a second. It's live right now too. But to kind of wrap it up, overall, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but it was tough for me to kind of watch it, so I'm glad Ben was able to kind of carry the conversation on it. However, one thing I'm not going to miss, Saturday, April 8th, that is the next one, UFC 287. That is the rematch for Pereira and Adesanya. That's going to be an amazing title fight. And on the co-main event there, you've got Jorge Masvidal, the villain of the UFC for me. I'm not crazy on him. He's going up against Gilbert Burns. That should be a great matchup as well. We've got Rob Font on the card, Kevin Holland. We've got the young kid. We've talked about this a little bit before too. Raul Rosas Jr., the 18-year-old, the wicked young kid. So we've got it. He actually, and we talked about this a little bit last week, he's actually going to be on the main card. This is a card I'm all in for, super excited for, which is, I think, about 2 to 3 weeks away. So not too far. But again, I'm more excited, moral of the story, because it is a main event type of thing. It's not a matinee game, championship fight. It is a main event at night primetime fight.
Exactly, Josh. Listen, like you said, it's all about the going out. It's all about, the vibes about it. It's cool during the day, and again, just going back to, it was a good day for the English, obviously, in London. I had a bunch of English fighters winning. Jake Hadley, Chris Duncan. Good showing from everybody over there. Good showing for some of the youngsters. But let's get to UFC 287. We got Marlon Vera, Corey Sandhagen this upcoming Saturday. A little fight night one.
Good fight night, yeah.
That was a good little one over there. If you want to check out mainly that main card, that's, you got Holly Holm, co-manning it. She's still kicking it around. She's pretty old over there, but it's always good to see her fight. But, those are two main ones. But as Josh mentioned, 287 is a big one. Get the villain, as he said, Jorge Masvidal, he's going to get killed. Listen, Gilbert Burns is a beast. I don't think Jorge is going to survive in that one. And listen, I like Jorge, but he's not going to survive. And Josh mentioned the young Raul Rojas. It's just going to be a great overall card. Izzy Pereira is just, everyone's just a must-watch fight over there. So can't wait for that one. Get your money ready, but don't Marlon Vera, Corey Sandhagen. Don't forget about that one next Saturday night.
Look at that little plug there for Ben. And as Rob had mentioned, we nailed a live bet. I had to get to it. So excited. So it's Saturday. I'm getting back from New York. I'm all pumped up. And literally, I'm watching the World Baseball Classic. Dylan reminds me. I'm like, this is awesome. Rob goes, let's live bet Team USA right now. They're down against Venezuela. Venezuela's got all the momentum, right? They just hit a 2-run shot. We're down. We're like, damn. 7-5 or whatever it was at that moment. I remember we put the live bet in. It's the odds. I got the amazing odds. It was like plus 300. That's what I got it at. Rob and then Dylan didn't get it at the exact same odds. Whatever. That's been an ongoing little squawk between the three of us. However, I digress. Big moment in the game. The bases are loaded. It's 7-5. Kyle Tucker gets a terrible call against him. The bases are loaded. It's 2 outs. He could have brought a run home. The hits me with my own medicine with the hee-haw. Gets him out. I'm like, damn, dude. We're going back. We go back to another inning. I don't know what it was. A quick 1-2-3 inning, right? So we're all sitting there. We're like, damn. Like, me and Rob are all in. I don't know who it was. Somebody was negative in the I can't quite remember who it was, but somebody was negative in the Xbox party. All of a sudden, bang! Trey Turner hits another grand slam, which he just seems to continue to do. Saves the world. We hit the bet. Live bet. Who's moving on? We're moving on. Team USA was in the finals because of Trey Turner. Just want to say that.
No wonder why Rob is so invested in this. I was wondering why Rob was so invested in the World Baseball Classic. It's because it's Robbie Betts. Robbie Betts is back. We're not going to answer that. Come on, Rob. Me and Josh never get in an octagon. Maybe put me and Jimmy in there. Maybe for me and Josh. Maybe me and Jimmy versus Jimmy. Maybe we'll get a little WWE. Maybe we gotta get to WWE instead of the octagon. That'd be a nice little 2-on-1 match or triple threat. You can go that way. Maybe me and Josh team up on Jimmy. But yeah, maybe I think our talents more suit the WWE. I think WWE would be a little better for us octagons, for the real fighters out there.
Let's get
Uh,
Rob and Dylan. Rob,
yeah,
you get
I
in
mean,
there,
Rob,
man. He's
yeah.
calling
I mean,
everyone out. Why doesn't he get in there?
yeah, come on, Rob. Rob, you gotta get in there. That'd be a good fight. I gotta take Dylan in that one. Yeah, I think I would beat up Jimmy pretty bad, but that would be a pretty good one. We could get some live bets for Rob and Dylan and myself and Jimmy. We could get the betting going. I know Rob would definitely commission that. Robbie Betts is backing at it. But
Robbie Betts. Oh
it's
boy.
just showing you. Listen, we always say bet responsibly, but this is showing what it could do. It could bring you back into some of these games, make some of these World Baseball Classics a little more interesting. Obviously we got some baseball fans in there, no disrespect, but listen, I'm not the biggest baseball guy, and this can whatever. Rob, we don't need Rob's approval, but this can enhance it a little. So
We got
everyone tune in. Let's go. Let's go Team USA, Josh.
100%. We've got Mikey coming in here. Go
Team
Japan. Get
USA.
out of here. Hey, I will say
Come on, Mikey. Hey,
I
someone's got to
do
root for Mikey. There you go, Mikey.
I do
Big verified.
respect Team Japan. I wanted
That's a
them
good
to
team.
be in the final. It's just the best matchup here. Team Japan's got all the they've got Otani, they've got that young 19-year-old kid who's just unbelievable. They've got the Red Sox player Yoshida as well. So, I love it. Rob saying he's March. We'll push that to the back burner, but again, it's team baseball representing the red, white, and blue. Who can't be excited for that? Guess what I'm going to do right after this podcast? I'm going to hop right on and watch it. Even if I actually didn't even have the bet in, and I was interested because as Ben had mentioned, I'm just super back into baseball again. Rob, just whatever. But
Rob, he's just said it again. He's just there you go, Rob.
he's doing his stuff like he always does. However, we've got a little bit of time here. We are going to switch gears completely, and we're going to talk some college ball. We're going to talk some college basketball. It is March Madness.
Uh-oh.
Rob says he is the month of March. I'm not the month of March when it comes to March Madness at all. I am not March. However, these teams are still in March. We've got UConn. We've got heavy hitters like Gonzaga, UCLA, Houston. Texas is still in. We've got Xavier, Alabama, San Diego State, Creighton, Princeton. All these teams, I just want to quickly say as well, my finals are still there. My final championship game is still there. However, some things got interesting when Purdue and Virginia decided to screw things up.
Yeah.
However, I still have Alabama and UCLA in my finals. I have Alabama winning it all. I also had Alabama versus San Diego State still going. I was heavy on San Diego State. They made that nice run. I'm glad. That was a kind of my I got that was my kind of bold prediction going into this was, I got a hunch about San Diego State. They proved me right, but Alabama all the way, Ben. I'm just going to quickly go out here. I'm going to flaunt, roll tide all over you guys. Alabama's going to win it all. It's been an easy breeze, and Houston's going to find a way to screw it up. Sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah, I hate to keep agreeing with Rob on that one, but put in there my sort of bold one that Josh just mentioned. Josh had that San Diego State one. I got Miami in the Final Four. I got Miami upset Houston.
You.
So that one's, I got Miami going a little far. So that one's kind of my one that I'm hanging my hat on. I had Gonzaga, Arizona in my finals. So I'm all in on the Zags right now. The Zags are big time. Obviously, everyone knows what happened with Arizona. I had a pretty bad jinx on Virginia, too. I thought that game was over. Virginia, it's another one. They're just sort of in the no conversation one for me. I just can't even look at that team.
Me and you both.
Yeah, Josh already talking about that one. I just,
unbelievable.
Sorry for the jinx, but I mean, I just don't know how. I wasn't even looking at the game. Was looking at the phone. Obviously, those first 2 days are the best in March Madness. You got a game on every channel. You can just tune on somewhere else. I was getting ready for the next one. You just got to inbound it. You just got to inbound it. And they just can't even do that. Give up that. As soon as they picked it off, I knew he was going to hit that three. It's just March, and he's good run. Hey, good run for him, for man, whatever they are. Listen, I'm just still pissed at them. Still in it. I believe. I haven't really been looking at that side of the bracket. I'm all in on the bottom.
Think they are
they probably
out,
lost.
Ben.
They probably
lost.
I'm looking at that Gonzaga bracket.
They lost to San Diego State.
Yep.
They got annihilated by San Diego State.
See, yeah, I didn't even. That one was a rough one for me. That side of the bracket's pretty much all X'd out for me. Baylor too. Thanks, Baylor. Creighton. I don't know what was going on with that one. But Yeah, besides my disapproval and everything, this is what March is about, Josh. This is, this is what you want to see. You want to see these crazy upsets. Some of these Cinderella teams, Fairleigh Dickinson, ended their run last night, a couple nights ago. But to another team, FAU Florida Atlantic, you didn't have them making it this far. Another team in the no conversation won Memphis. What are we doing? Just kind of, what are we doing right there? I know the refs kind of screwed them at the end. Did he have that ball and called the timeout? Is it a jump ball? I think, it looks like he had that ball in Memphis possession, called the timeout before the jump ball happened. I digress. You just got another one. The same thing with Virginia, just late game situations. They gotta be better. They can't choke like they did. And they just forgot how to play the game. They just panicked and just forgot all the fundamentals and just let these teams get back into it. So a little bittersweet with that, but it's been a great tournament so far. Got the upsets over there. Princeton making a nice little run right now. In Princeton, that's I was thinking of. Sorry for a minute, but Princeton's still alive and they're still kicking it. A nice little win over Missouri. Obviously the shocker with Arizona. I thought Arizona just another disappointing year. I knew I shouldn't have taken them. Always disappoint. And like you said, we both previously mentioned Purdue just bowing out. That was another one. I haven't seen that since Virginia. Thanks Purdue on that one. Shout out to Coach O'Donnell. She's dad on that one. Big Purdue fan. Hopefully he's doing all right after that. Hopefully he can bounce back after that one. Tough one for the Boilermakers, but like I said, never trust the Big Ten teams out there. And Michigan State's making me eat those words, but I'll still keep with that saying, Josh.
These are some interesting matchups in the round of 16. We've got, oops, I clicked the wrong thing. We've got UConn and the Razorbacks, Arkansas. This one's a heavy hitter, and I'm glad they put it on for the late night game. Thursday, UCLA Gonzaga. I'm all eyes for that. I want UCLA heavy in that. Like I said, I have UCLA in the finals. That's my oh damn, I'd be happy either way if it was UCLA or Alabama. I mean, I'm obviously rooting for Roll Tide, but if UCLA won it all, I'd be like, damn, I kind of had this weird hunch for them. Also, if you look over to, where is it? The South, Alabama, San Diego State. This is a huge one for me because I had that weird thing with San Diego State going far. I think it's going to fall short here. We've seen Alabama just roll over teams. They're great offensively and defensively. As we all know, San Diego State is predicated on their defense. Even I knew that. I'm not super into NCAA before March Madness, but however, that's the case. I think Alabama beats them by 10. I might even put a little side thing on that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But again, it's looking good for me, Ben. I know we talk about Virginia, who Rob was just sending all the way to the moon 2 weeks ago. He was completely dead wrong. You are not the month of March for that, Rob, because you were all in on Virginia, and they are putrid for that performance. That was the end of that game was probably the worst basketball IQ I've ever seen for coaching and for the player. And the sad part was they literally still had a timeout even after they shot that half-court heave. Literally, that was... Ben's reaction was my legit reaction outside at work, stunned because my whole 3-leg parlay in bonus bets was screwed because of them, and my whole bracket was pretty much screwed up because I had them winning that first. It ruined a lot of things. I can still make things work because I have Alabama and UCLA. That can happen. That'd be amazing for me. And I hit the tiebreaker. All right. Now we're in Disneyland world. But again, I cannot talk enough about how ridiculous that was. I'm sorry. It's blasphemous. It really was. But Alabama, UCLA to the moon. I want that championship matchup. I think we have a very good chance of seeing that championship matchup. And by the time next week rolls around, Houston's going to screw it up. They always do it. I'm going to bowl my Stephen A. Smith with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to be laughing at you guys who took Houston to cut down those nets because they're not going to do it. They're going to screw it up. I'm telling you, they are going to screw it up. Mark my words. That'll be the way to kick off the show next week. Is Houston going to be on to the next round or not? They will screw it up. I'm telling you. They are going to screw it up.
I'm back to Josh up on that one. Let's go Miami. Houston, they always find a way. Another team went a little further last year, but I think that Marcus Sasser injury is gonna, he still hasn't been 100%. I think that's gonna come back invite them. Miami, as Rob mentioned, too big Miami guy, I guess. Thank God they didn't go down at POG as Boiler up. Listen, we got to them. Sorry to Boiler Nation. Uh, but I think Miami's going to take it to Houston. Miami's watch out for this Miami team. We got a bunch of veterans on Isaiah Wong leading them over there. This is a good team that made a nice run last year. Pretty much return all same team that they got from last year's run. Yeah, I really like them. Alabama, that talent's just a little too much for that team. I think Alabama's going to make a nice little run for Josh. And all those Bama people, even though I want them to bow out, listen, if San Diego State won, that make me a little happy man, over here for the time being. Yeah, just because I'm in a group with a lot of Alabama graduates, and they got a lot of people that had a lot of Bama winning brackets. So I mean, if Bama bowed out right now, that'd be pretty good for me. Just selfishly,
Respect that.
but
I can respect that.
Selfishly, but I mean, that's just gonna be a great game. San Diego State, Alabama. Alabama's, probably first true test, in this tournament so far.
Definitely.
That's gonna be a great game. Like you just mentioned, UCLA Gonzaga. That's the classic rematch of the Jalen Suggs game winner a couple of years ago. I believe I was in the Elite Eight, I believe that was Elite Eight. Just an insane game. That was just a classic double overtime, I believe. So can't wait to see that one again. Drew Timme playing out of his mind. Let's go, Drew Timme. Like I said, Arkansas making a nice Arkansas with them. Nobody's talking about them taking down last year's champs and defending champs in Kansas. Big win for them, but UConn is looking really good. Samugo, butchered his name again, but that guy's playing out of his mind. Their big guy. He's been carrying them, pretty much do everything for him. So they're great to watch. I think I got UConn in that one, so watch out for well, I think I had I forget who I actually had in that one, but I got UConn right now. But we got some great matchups, continuing this great march already. Let's just go Zags, Josh. Let's keep going to Zags. Finally win one.
And that, hold on, timeout. Who do you actually have winning at all?
Gonzaga.
Oh, you do have Gonzaga. Okay, because last week we were kind of being quiet because we're in a bunch of brackets. So you do have Gonzaga.
Arizona.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
Gonzaga,
fair.
Arizona in the finals.
Okay,
Arizona obviously.
Yeah.
Whoops. That was a tough one. That was a tough one to watch. Whoops on that one. But hey, we bounce back. We'll bounce back. A nice little Miami run to the Final Four will help me out. So let's go Miami. Let's go Zags, Josh. But great game so far. Great tournament, as always.
Oh, 100%. It's awesome. It's madness. There's games all times of the hours. I literally love it, especially when it's the round of 64, 32. It's like the best when it first starts. It obviously, I think it dwindles down a little bit, but when it first starts, like the game's at 12 o'clock all the way to 9, 10. It's awesome. It's been great. Let's go Alabama. Ben's got Gonzaga. I'm going to get to Rob's comment on the Yankees because it was bothering me. I'm great. I'm not doing this Josh Donaldson ready thing. I know you sent it in the chat, Rob. I am excited for baseball season. I'm all in. I think the Yankees have the tools to win the division. I think they have the tools to make a deep run. Side note, Jose Altuve, that's a massive injury for the Astros. They don't even know how long he's going to be sidelined for. He got hurt in that game with USA and Venezuela. I think he broke his thumb. So x-rays did not come back as positive as they thought. That's a side note. So that's decent if you're the Yankees. I mean, I don't want to root for somebody's injury, but I'm all in on the Yankees this year, Rob, like I always am every year. But I'm not all in on Josh Donaldson. I'm done with that. He's not the same guy he was. He's a locker room cancer. I'm sorry. Done with that. Not going to feed in. It's spring. Very early. Side note, Trey Turner just hit another home run. That is his fourth home run in 3 games. He is making a very big chance for me to make a move on him in fantasy baseball. Just saying that. It's going to be very dicey because I have the 4th pick. I'm not going to say too much, but this kid is literally unbelievable. I know me and James were talking about him a little bit earlier in the fact that he is just pure consistency, and I know James was saying he's not going to steal as many bases this year. I think he's still going to get to that. He's going to get his. This kid is absolute phenomenal get for the Phillies. Super jealous that they got him. But yeah, also call up Volpe. Let's get Volpe running that shortstop for the Yankees. So quickly for those two. Team USA is up right now, 1-0 against Japan. Needed that live thing for you. And Aaron, I will be on Fortnite later.
There we go. Let's go. Go, Josh. A little Fortnite action going on. I totally thank you for that one. I forgot where it was. It's a big move for the Phillies. Phillies already clearly already a team established, and just adding Trey Turner to that roster. Listen, they're going to be around for a while. It's a competitive division over there with the Mets, always making moves. So, good for the Phillies.
Who lost Diaz too?
Yeah. Well, let's go. I was about to say that's huge, huge for the rest of that NL and that division. But hey, let's go Team USA. Let's get back on track to the main point with Team USA. Let's go get this win. But shout out Trey Turner. Yeah, that guy's phenomenal.
We're gonna switch gears again. I agree. I love Trey Turner. I mean, this guy. If you're watching the World Baseball Classic, this guy is making a name for himself in fantasy baseball. You're feeling really good if you have him or you have the chance to get him. He's just been unbelievable. We're going to switch gears over to the Bruins, who are up right now 2-1 against the Senators. They just light it up, Ben. I literally placed a bet on them the other day with the bonus money. 7-0. I mean, look at this. They're on a 1-2-3 game win streak. Their last loss coming against the Blackhawks. I mean, Jeremy Swayman was legitimately perfect with a shutout game against the Sabres. I know it's the Sabres, and some Bruins fans and people are going to roll their eyes. This team is legit. There's no more discussion about whether they're legit or not. They are going to win the President's Trophy. They are 100% going to take that first seed. They've run away with it. They've clinched a playoff spot. Celtics have too as well. We'll get to them in a couple minutes before we end the show. But the Bruins are 100% legit. I'm done with it. The trades that they've made are great. And I also want to say shout out to Hathaway. This kid is very underrated. And shout out to Cam Brulette, because we run an Xbox party and he was shouting him out. This guy has been on the stat sheet constantly for the Bruins. They're legit. I'm done with this. I don't think the Bruins, whatever. I believe in them more than I believe in the Celtics right now. Again, we'll get to the Celtics. They have a huge game tonight against the Kings, which I want to tune into. Very interesting game. Underrated Kings team. However, the Bruins, this team's legit, Ben, and it all comes down to a couple simple things. We know that they've been great offensively. We know that they've added Krejci, and, they're finding their molds. But it's all depth. From the goaltenders to the fourth lines. Every single Bruin has a role, and they know what their role is. From the Hathaways, who get those gritty goals, to the Trent Fredericks, who are just going to pound your face in on the ice. Every single Bruin has a role, in just tip of the cap to ownership for making these moves. An absolute tip of the hat to Jim Montgomery, who has been unbelievable with this year as the Bruins. I am all in on this team. All in on the Bruins. To the moon, Ben. They are just rolling through teams. I love it.
Let's go book two tickets, Josh. Right now, me and you're going. Let's go with the Bees.
All in.
Like you just mentioned perfectly. I mean, Hathaway has been huge for us, and some of these other depth guys, have been taking sort of the load away from these injuries to Fliano, and sorry, I butchered the name, Fliano. I always butcher that one. Taylor Hall, who we're still trying to see when his timetable. They're still kind of a little iffy on the timetable. I know I've been hearing some reports. He's coming back a little sooner than later, and I hear something else. So, those other guys have been taking away some of the key injuries that we thought were going to hurt this team, and we haven't missed a beat. So, just got to shout out to the depth and the front office for getting some of this stuff done. It's when they have been known to not do as much as they have been needed to do in some of these other years with Bergeron and Chara, when they sort of had this core together. They didn't sort of go after some of these trade deadline guys like they have been. The Lindholms, and blank on this other guy that we got this year that I love. But listen, the Bruins, they've been awesome. Yeah, Orlov. Thank you, Josh. That was another great one. Thank you. Shout out to the Capitals. Again, a bunch of Capitals guys. But I mean, it's just been great for this team. Consistency, complete opposite of the Celtics. We don't even really need to listen.
We both did, Nick. We both did. I can't let Ben go down with the ship.
Listen, hey,
We
DeBrusque,
both did.
we were looking to drive him to the
Uh,
airport, but yeah, he's bounced back. He's bounced back pretty good, Josh. So we've got him on that one. We owe him an apology, but hey, listen, he's doing his job out there. He's playing well. Just another guy that's just bringing this team to what they are now. Everyone's reaching their max potential. Uh, so hey, shout out to the Bruins. I know. Listen, some people feel like we haven't been given enough love, but hey, it's whatever. We're gonna keep doing this. It's been working enough this season. We're waiting for the playoffs. This is a team of destiny, so we gotta get to the playoffs. We pretty much secure that. Uh, Began with the Celtics because I don't know what the Celtics are doing. The Celtics just I don't know what happened in Utah a couple of nights ago. That was just a collapse. I know people are going to blame Grant, but Grant, stepped up big in that game. It was like 9 or 10 threes. Did everything up until up until that last play. I know that last play,
poor
everyone's going to hang
decision.
on that. Yeah, that's just on that. That's just what are you doing? You got to Scal. Scal was a little hard on him, but I mean, yeah, it's just as Josh just perfectly said. It's just poor decision making. What are you doing right there? He has such a perfect game, and you hate to see for a guy like that. It's just everyone's getting yelled at him now, but it's such a perfect game, and then what are you thinking? You got to get that. That just can't be. You just can't be getting the ball right there. You got to know if you get it right there. Look for Tatum. Look for someone else. Uh, and if you do make that move, you got to realize you're not under the rim. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but it was bad to watch. Especially just lose that lead, just under 2 minutes, blowing a 7 point lead. Uh, it was tough to watch. But Celtics, as I mentioned, with the Bruins consistency, Celtics need to find it, and yeah, Tatum and Brown need to just wake up a little, sort of just get the foot back on the gas because I think they let it off just for a little. I think we thought we had this lead in this conference, and now we're sitting in third. So I believe third. I think we are. So I just want to double check that. But I mean, the 76ers have been rattling off wins, and the Bucks seem very dominant in second. So listen, I know the 76ers have been rattling off wins, so that's good. They haven't caught up to us, but the Bucks are just looking dominant. So we really got to shore up ourselves for that, Josh.
100%, Ben. We talk about this all the time, and I'm so glad you brought this up. The seeding. That's been like kind of the theme of our podcast. That's kind of been the theme of when we talk about the Celtics is securing that 1 through 3 seed, making sure you have a very favorable first round matchup, and even later into the playoffs, you secure that home court advantage. The Bucks are just like running away with it right now. I believe they are. Oh, they're only 2.5 games ahead of us, which is
Feels like it.
kind of a lot, especially because there's less than 20 games left, even less than like 15 games left. So the Celtics have a little bit of work to be made. However, I got some somewhat good news for you guys. They have an interesting game tonight against the Kings, very underrated team. And I just want to say, we talked about needle movers in our group chat. Sabonis is that needle mover and a half for that Kings team. You notice that jolt. I think he's probably the most, one of, if not the most underrated player in the NBA. I will stand on that take. Keegan Murray's been also great. But finally, it's been working out for the Kings. It's an interesting matchup tonight, the little West Coast trip that the Celtics are on. After that, they've got the Pacers, Spurs, and Wizards. Again, another theme, another commodity I've always gone by. Make the most of these stretches. Don't play down to the competition. You have the chance tonight to get off on the right side of the foot here. You've got a great Kings team. Let's be competitive. Let's challenge them. Let's win this game. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's win a great game and roll into this 3-game stretch before we play the Bucks with 4 straight wins in a row. We will get to that Bucks game next week. We'll preview that a little bit more in depth because we see the Bucks and 76ers again before the season ends, and then we play the Raptors and Hawks like 3 times in a row, so it gets a little weird. But again, Celtics, prove us wrong. We're going through speed bumps. It's going to happen. At least get that second seed before the season's over. And again, I do think it's going to come down to the Celtics and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Team USA to the moon. I'm sorry, Mikey. Got to go against you. Also want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. I'm super excited for some stuff that we've got coming down the way. Down the pike. Live show coming in the next few months. Little teaser there for you guys. Again, I just want to thank every single person for tuning in. I'm going to leave it on this note. Brandon Cooks, welcome to Dallas.
Love it, Josh. Love it. Hey, thanks you to everyone for watching. As always, tuning in, commenting. Love it. The show is you guys, so appreciate it. Hey, Team USA, let's go. Josh, I land on this one. Celtics, let's pick it up. Come on.